All right. Many of you have been asking questions related to the financial fallout from the coronavirus pandemic. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger joins us with some answers. Jill, good morning. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Let me start you off with the first question, which comes from Jim, who writes that his workplace is closed, but his employer has not communicated what his job status is at this point. So he's wondering, should he file for unemployment?
Absolutely don't wait. And I think it's fair to say that anyone who has been sidelined more than a week and you haven't heard from your boss, just presume you're unemployed. Remember, the CARES Act that was passed a few weeks ago, it expands eligibility for unemployment. So go ahead, make that claim, and bring your patience with you, because it's going to take a while in many states to get those unemployment claims moving. So as soon as possible, please do that.
Jill, I've got a good question from Andrea. She says her family's income is inconsistent. They have a mortgage, loans, and credit card bills, and she wants to know which one should she prioritize.
It's so important to do this. I think that for anyone who has any income at all, or even those who have been laid off or furloughed, looking at those expenses and prioritizing those bills, really a #1 job. So here's a great tip. You can go to consumerfinance.gov. That's the CFPB website. They've got a prioritizing bill tool on the site. You'll note that, of course, food comes first. But everything after that is negotiable. You may say, I've got to make my car payment because, you know what, I need to drive to work. Or you may say, I don't need my car right now. I'm going to tell the lender that I need some help. Regardless, go through this exercise, prioritize your bill. For those bills that you cannot pay, reach out to the lenders, reach out to landlords, ask for some help. Say the virus has impacted you. Many are willing to cut you some slack.
Jill, our viewer Andrea says her family's income is inconsistent. They have a mortgage, loans, and credit card bills. She asked how. Oh, sorry, we asked that question. Forgive me. I want to go to a question from Bob. Bob says, I am 67. I was planning on retiring next year. What should people who are approaching retirement be doing right now?
I have gotten this message probably 1,000 times on my podcast, and they're coming in fast and furious. The thing is that as you approach retirement, you would have hoped that you came into the period with some lower risk in some of your assets. Maybe you'd have not as much money in your retirement plan in the stock market. But a lot of people just found out that they, made a mistake. So now what do? You go back and you start running your numbers for your own retirement planning. If you need help, there's a lot of resources online. But what you want to make sure is that you've got enough money to create the income you need. And if you need to work longer, that might not be the most ideal scenario, but it actually might help you really get through this period, because if you can go back to work for an extra year that you hadn't planned on, that may allow you to not invade your retirement assets at a time when markets are still trading a lot lower than they were just a month and a half ago.
Jill, this question comes from Stacy, who's in a position I think a lot of workers are. She writes that she's getting a 10% pay cut until further notice, and she wants to know if she should consider lowering her 401k contributions.
You know, I think this is a tough decision. It really depends how close you are living to the edge. If you are putting money into your retirement plan comfortably and you can still do that, it would be great if you could continue. And here is why. When you have retirement contributions automatically coming out of your paycheck, those contributions happen regardless of whether the market is up or down. Imagine this, you're buying shares lower. So if possible, hold on, keep putting that money away, and try not to mess with your game plan.
All right, Jill Schlesinger, many thanks.